day in the life of an artist. Today is the day of my closing reception at Over the Rainbow Gallery. They've been so gracious in hosting me. And I just wanted to give you a quick tour of all the work that I've done. And this is work primarily in the last couple of years. So here's a fine mesh, where I use a lot of aesthetic writing. And a lot of talking points, 1 and 2. This is one that was a little bit earlier, and this is called Ever the Day. And it was really, I think I did this in the summer. You can tell that I'm influenced by the seasons because of the colors that I use in the paintings. And Ever the Day, I did a lot of scraping and layering with a lot of different types of materials. This one was a beast. This one is called Spectral. It's huge. It's 48 inches tall by 96 inches wide. It's a dipstick, and it's gone through so many iterations where the paint is layered on so thick with so much history, and it just about killed me, and I wasn't even sure if I would get it done in time for the show. So this is Spectral, and then these two right here are incensed, and these are very light, and they kind of remind me of smoke and incense, but I was also incensed with what's happening right now in politics, so that kind of inspired the naming of them. And I never name my pieces before I paint. I don't, the way that I work is I work and then it tells me what the name is. And then the other,
oh my God.
The other large depiction of the show is Wonderwall. And this is also a newer piece where I use a lot of different techniques, a lot of layering of the paint, and again, inspired by more summer and spring colors. You can see how that came in. And this is a series where I really was looking at architecture and looking at how architecture in organic forms and how they work together, and how urban decay kind of happens, and how nature kind of reclaims the land and takes over architectural elements. So I've got a lot of structure in these, and a lot of the structure is not, these aren't collages, a lot of the structure is created with masking. And I build the structure, and then I do a lot of gestural work, of more natural strokes, just like plants in nature. And these two right here, in this climate, same thing. And I really like to build atmosphere and engage in mystery, and experiment with different tools and techniques with everything. The biggest piece in the series, Skies and Stories, is one that I did that really, you can see the sky in this, and I was really thinking about looking up at the sky and like big structures, and almost like, what's that movie? Inception. You know, it was almost like it was like this cheap, moving ground, and the sky was moving, you know, like a lot of things coming together. And then more of my gestural work is over here. These guys I did in the summer too, in the spring. You can see a lot of playfulness and a lot of gesture in these works. Eyes Wide Open, really bright piece. It has a sister painting, which is Mind's Eye Open, and they work together, but we didn't have enough space to hang it in the show, and you can tell, again, the layers and how I like to push and pull with my layers. This one is one of 3 in the series called Provence, and I felt like it really represents fields in the country and the smell. I was just thinking like lavender, and it just, again, it's a summer piece for us. And this one is Mandolin Maid, Isolde's sister, which was, now I can't remember, Middle Mystery. And then these guys are paper collaged onto canvas, and those are all called fusion, because there's a lot of energy happening and a lot of movement and gestural work. There's a lot of action going on in those paintings. And then Conclaven, to me, I felt like this was super mysterious, and that there's like this heat coming, and that there's a lot of mystery and shrouding. And I was thinking about the conclave, and that name just came to me because it felt like it was getting engulfed. It just felt like you didn't know really what was going on with this painting, and so I felt that that was an appropriate title for that. And then these were actually, and these are very new for me, a technique that I use where I build up a lot of layers on a painting, and if I don't like the painting, I take a grinder to the painting, which is a metal sander, because the sander didn't do enough damage, and I scrape away to earlier layers, kind of revealing the painting's history. And so the gestural of the grinder works with the old gesture that was in the painting. So I've got new gesture and old gesture working together because I was able to remove layers so easily. And then this is actually one of 3.
You're fine.
This is called raw chemistry, and there's 3 that kind of look as acidic almost. And actually I started these in my backyard. During the summer I work a lot in my backyard, flat, so it's on the ground and I can move between paintings. And then these 2 are the other 2 in the Provence series. So I have those 3 that work very well together. And last but not least is, Sight for Sore Eyes. This one has a counterpart that's sold, but this one is actually one of my earlier paintings that I did like 3 years ago maybe, when I was starting to do the gestural work. And again, this started out as a totally different painting, and I just built up the layers, and I did a lot of glazing, which is when you use paint with a medium or water and just do really light layers. So that's how I came up with this. And then the rest of the show are collage pieces. So behind you here is Under the Radar and Caught in a Daydream. And that is all collage, and I actually use a lot of translucent work with the collage. And then over here is Caught in the Moment and Go with the Flow. And again, you can see there's a lot of, I use wet straight tissue paper and some drips, and then I collage in using gesture. Again, I'm using structure, hard edges with gestural work. And then, these are the backs that I'll show you. But these are just straight paintings, actually, if we only could, and in the weeds. And they're just smaller works that I did, very similar to a lot of the gesture that's on the walls. So anyway, thanks for spending the time with me. I appreciate it.